I have a message for Black Lives Matter's protesters. You are playing with fire and becoming your own worst enemy. I also have a message for black voters. Don't get caught up in their anger. I have a new column out on thehill.com on this movement that lacks an agenda or a list of solutions. Instead, they're inciting violence against cops, antagonizing the black community's longtime political allies, both Republican and Democrat, and could actually keep black voters from the polls in 2016. Demonstrators should be harnessing their efforts to work on something constructive rather than destructive, like mobilizing support for criminal justice reform that actually would improve black lives. Kimberly, do you understand what I'm trying to say? That I think a lot of this is just like lacking in focus.
Okay, but this is what I've been saying, and then you and I have been going back and forth and doing this dance on it. What I'm saying is you do need people to stand up in the communities to stand. Why shy away from it? Because you're worried about the political correctness? Why is it all of a sudden become a crime to say all lives matter?
No, I think that was a mistake because it opened themselves to the kind of criticism of all lives rather than the focus.
It just delegitimizes their whole movement, the message of what they have to say, and instead it's turned into a whole thing against police officers where cops are now, you know, basically on the first line where they're getting killed and murdered and assassinated.
I think there's a legitimate issue here, Eric, but it seems to me that they are ruining trust in the entire political process.
Can someone get Juan Williams in here? Where's Juan? Juan was supposed to be on tonight.
He's hiding in my shoe.
Recently, as Saturday, Juan, we had an argument on a show.
Yeah.
And I think I was saying exactly what you wrote about today, and you were pushing back saying that they have a legitimate movement.
They do have a legitimate. There's a legitimate reason to worry about police using excessive force.
Isn't there a bigger reason to worry about black-on-black violence?
For me, there is. I'm black.
And shouldn't for everyone?
What?
So what are you saying, Juan?
No, it is for everyone, but it's not to say that there's nothing legitimate. But the problem is these people don't know what they're doing, Dana.
Well, I appreciate the part in your column that I read yesterday where you talked about the need for bipartisan support of this prison reform.
Yes.
And I think the devil's in the details on that. I'm a little skeptical, but I'd be all for it, and hopefully there will be somebody that comes forward.
Well, you look at Paul, Grassley, Boehner. I mean, there are lots of Republicans behind this. Greg, what do you think about Black Lives Matter as being politically immature?
I don't think, to your point, I don't think it's a black or white issue. It's a radical issue. Underlying all radicalism is a desire for anarchy and chaos. Race just happens to be the latest conduit to express this kind of disorder. They heckled the D.C. mayor, who she advocated putting more cops in the street to help stem the bloodshed that was happening, the black-on-black crime. And they heckled her, which told you that they weren't even interested in the safety of the community more than the ideology of their chaotic.
And she was a black mayor. One more thing up next.